You know what? Bump BJJ. Here's a couple reasons why you should quit BJJ. So number one, because these are the main reasons I hear being a jiu-jitsu athlete. And you know what? You're right. You guys are right. I'm gonna go ahead and share this for you people. It'll never be good enough for pure self-defense. Sadly, purely doing jiu-jitsu will not help you if you're on the street against a UFC veteran, UFC fighter, or ultimate street fighting champion. So honestly, jiu-jitsu is pretty much useless. It'll never work against a gun. Jiu-jitsu, unlike every other martial art, is useless against a gun. Because we're doing jiu-jitsu instead of karate, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, etc., it's useless because unlike all of those, if I only have jiu-jitsu, a gun will indeed end my life. Therefore, out of all the martial arts that you could choose to train, jiu-jitsu is the worst because if someone points a gun at you and pulls the trigger, you will indeed die. In jiu-jitsu, unlike any other martial art or just not training at all, you can't fight off multiple attackers. Yep, I said it. You cannot fight off multiple attackers. Unless you're a amazing boxing champion, UFC fighter, etc., you pretty much have no ability if you only have jiu-jitsu to fight off multiple attackers. In fact, unless you're a supreme high-level boxer or street fighter, you're pretty much dead if there are two or more opponents. So this is another reason you shouldn't do jiu-jitsu. You would never wear a gi in a fight. I am in Florida right now. Everyone is naked and has BBLs. What am I going to do? I can't do a cross-collar choke against a BBL. What am I going to do? Gis are just very unrealistic. And if you ever get in a street fight on the beach against a woman with a BBL or men with super extreme fighting tattoos, you'll be dead. So just BJJ isn't realistic. You should not wear a gi. You'll never wear a gi anywhere. And lastly, and this is the most important reason why you should not train jiu-jitsu. This one's the biggest one, right? Especially with our current political situation going on. If there were an alien invasion, you'd be fucked. Yep, I said it. If there were an alien invasion, you would be fucked. What are you going to do? Pull guard and go into reverse Delahiva against the aliens? Are you serious? Have you heard of Goku? Goku from Dragon Ball Z. He's an alien. Kakarot. Your jiu-jitsu is not going to help you. Now, guys, obviously, I'm joking. Being someone who came from wrestling, I get a bunch of messages talking about how useless jiu-jitsu is, how dumb grappling is, how stupid it is. And some points are valid, right? Obviously, jiu-jitsu is not the best martial art for self-defense, and it's not great for fighting off multiple people. And yeah, of course, it's not going to help you against a gun. These are very obvious things, very dumb things that pretty much should not even need to be stated. No one in jiu-jitsu is going out and planning to be the ultimate street fighter. At least most people aren't. But the point of this video, like the real point of this video is I want to tell you some guys, here's some reasons you should not quit jiu-jitsu. Because jiu-jitsu is freaking awesome. And it's about a lot more than just street fighting or being tough or being able to, battle off a shooter. So here are some reasons you should not quit jiu-jitsu. Or if you don't do jiu-jitsu and you'd like to start, here are some reasons you should start doing jiu-jitsu. Number one is a sense of community. After I graduated college, I didn't have a sense of community. I really didn't. Or rather, let me rephrase, after wrestling, I didn't have a sense of community. To be honest, unlike the fairy tales that most people say, I did not have a great relationship with my wrestling team. I felt I had a very toxic wrestling team. And although I had a couple really good friends on the wrestling team, I would say not many lifelong friends, maybe one, So after the wrestling season was over, I had pretty much no reason to hang out with most wrestlers. When I started doing jiu-jitsu, it gave me a really nice sense of community. And obviously, this was just my story, but I think a lot of people lack a sense of community, and that can be extremely depressing. We're humans, we're social creatures, and having some sense of community is extremely, extremely important. There's a sense of accomplishment, whether it's via competition or whether it's via getting your belt. There's this cool, almost, I would say, there's this cool, different way of growing in jiu-jitsu that you don't see in most other martial arts, especially wrestling, where, you get your belts, you get to go, you get to get stripes, you get to do belt testing, etc., etc. And obviously belts are fake. It's all made up, but everything is fake. Nothing is real. It's all a fucking social concept, right? So what's wrong with this new social concept that makes people feel better about themselves? Lots of people love to hate on jiu-jitsu, just like lots of people love to hate on religion. And you're like, why do you care, bro? It's a sense of accomplishment that you get from hard work, consistency, and being the best version of yourself. And I think that that's really beautiful. The next thing is when you do BJJ, you're going to have a moderately high ability to defend yourself in one-on-one situations, right? Without knocking someone out or hurting them. Obviously, this is not end all be all. Again, No, you're not going to be taking out knife fighters or gun fighters. No, but if you were forced and put into a wall, if someone backed you up against a wall, you would have some ability or some idea of an ability of how to protect yourself. The goal of most people who do jiu-jitsu is not self-defense, although lots of people sell it as self-defense. I think those people create a very toxic mindset, but whatever. Having the ability to hold someone down, pin them, and put them to sleep is extremely useful, and it's a lot better than not having it, right? And one of the cool things about BJJ is like the better you get at it, the less likely you are to fight, because that brings us to our next point where it humbles you. No matter how good you get, there's always someone better. And I think it's important to be a humble person. You see extremely rich people all the way to extremely poor people doing jiu-jitsu, and the number one reason is because they feel like they're normal. We're all a part of the group. We're all brothers and sisters in arms, and we all know that like there's this hierarchy where you might be a great brown belt, but there's great black belts who had to change the angle here. It overheated a little bit. I don't have my camera as usual. I do, but it was kind of dead. But jiu-jitsu can humble you. It can be extremely humbling. I'm not saying it will humble everyone. There are egotistical psychopaths in literally every field, not just jiu-jitsu, although people love to use jiu-jitsu as an example because it's the field that we're in. So I guess it's just kind of relevance, right? But jiu-jitsu can humble you. There's always someone better. Doesn't matter. For every Gordon Ryan, there's a John Danaher who knows a little bit more. For every John Danaher, there's someone who probably knows more than him in at least one area of the game. So I think jiu-jitsu is really cool because no matter what field you're in, no matter how good you get, there's always someone better who knows a little bit more than you in one area. And I think humility is one of the greatest, attributes to have. And so jiu-jitsu is a great avenue to develop some humility. Lastly, jiu-jitsu it's a great way to develop a form of self-expression. I think lots of jiu-jitsu people tend to be a lot more liberal in the way they think about, maybe libertarian is the word, no politics here, right? But they tend to be a lot more open with the way that people are here in jiu-jitsu. And and literally when you're talking about the form of jiu-jitsu itself, there's so many different styles, so many different ways to be that I think lots of things don't have. Now, I guess you could say lots of martial arts have the ability to be creative, etc., etc., but I think jiu-jitsu really goes leaps and bounds above a lot of other things, and where it promotes creativity, self-exploration, and different forms of technical acquisition, right? But these are some reasons I think you guys should do jiu-jitsu. I could have rambled on for an hour. Sorry, I know the video was a little bit long here, and I recorded on my phone instead of my camera because I'm an idiot and I just came to Florida and I forgot to charge my camera, and so the quality might be a little bit worse with the actual video portion, but we do our best, and I wanted to get this video out because it's Wednesday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please, if you've never done jiu-jitsu before and you really want to do it, go ahead and give it a try, man. Of course there's valid arguments for not doing it, but I think there's a lot of reasons you should do jiu-jitsu. I think it's an amazing sport. And I think it's really worthwhile to try. If you already do jiu-jitsu, keep killing it. But yeah, guys, also, if you guys want to learn more from me personally, I have a couple of wrestling for jiu-jitsu seminars. I'm going to record those, and you can find those in the link with the links below on my Patreon. Or you can check out any of my Takedown for BJJ instructionals at brandonreed3x.com/store, where I have takedown videos. I don't do BJJ Fanatics. I do my own thing. It's my own platform. I cut videos up into small portions so you can watch them almost like Netflix. Instead of having like 3 hours of content where it's just continuous and it's hard to keep track. I really like that about Kajabi, which is the platform I use. So you can research more about Kajabi if you don't really understand how it works. But you can find any of those instructionals with the links below, or again at brandonreed3x.com/store. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below.